All right, it says I'm live. Hey, it's Dave Knight here at Dave Knight Trading. Trade crazy, trade crazy, whatever. Uh, hey, some good news. Yeah, just make that what it is. And let me minimize this. Bring over. Whoops. All right, just give me a second. I'm trying to minimize my. All right, I think I got it right. Look what happened. Look at that right there. $53,007.98. I have finally passed an EA, or officially, they'll send me a letter, I'm assuming, at Apex to allow me to move to PA. This was EA 205. I needed what, 240 to, I don't know what I needed. I need like 235 coming into today. I actually had a $500 down day this week as well. I had some issues. I actually had some issues with filling, and I'm not sure if it was a quant guard issue or if it was um, rhythmic issue. According to, before I bring this over in a second, according to Apex, this would have been what 3 days ago. So I guess that would have been Tuesday the 4th. The 5th, I made about 200 bucks back, 700 bucks on Thursday on the down move, and then obviously I made enough to get to 53,000. I had some issues with Quant Guard this week, and actually, let me rephrase that. Had no issues with Quant Guard until today. Now, there might have been an issue with Quant Guard a few days ago. I'm not sure. Notice that I got an LTE account right now. I did sign up for Lucid Trading. I read over their rules after the recommendation of both Nutty and Miles from Quant Guard. I went and connected. So my Apex account are Rhythmic, and everything else, you can only have one Rhythmic connection, by the way. And I watched a video how to do this. So the Lucid account is under TradeCrazeY, as you can see below. It says TradeCrazeY connected. I actually locked myself out of 208 today. I locked myself out of 205. Let me rephrase and say kind of some issues that happened to me in QuantGuard today. I connected initially at 9:11. It must have disconnected me. I passed 205. I noticed that I wasn't logged in. I relogged back into QuantGuard and I hit Trading Lock. I went to Lucid as my second, usually my second account that I trade. So I went to the Lucid account and it had a loss. I closed the trade and then I re-entered and it wouldn't allow me to trade again. So I actually, so then it wouldn't let me trade again. And let me grab this. So it locked me out and I tried again and it didn't show up and I just gave up on that. So I started trading with them on Wednesday the 5th, I believe. And so this was my third trading day, I believe, with Lucid. I had 2 winning days and then today was a losing day. There were some issues with QuantGuard for me, to be honest. It should have been a positive day on Lucid as well, but it didn't allow me to. It locked the trading. In net effect is it made it look as though I hit my $550 loss. So this is what my loss limit, and I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it looked as though I had made my $550 loss, and then it locked me out of the account. After I need to pay more attention to what. So I was, as you can tell, I was nowhere near that level at any point in the day, but it did show as though I did. And then the whoops, let's bring back QuantGuard again, and back to the accounts. And then on 208, I locked myself out. I only made like $7 today in that one, but I locked myself out because it would allow me to put the trade in, and then it would close the trade right after that. It went in my favor. The first time it showed correctly, and then the second time when I entered a trade, it didn't show where I was in my entry point. So I closed that, and then it closed me out on the third trade because I thought, what the hell's going on? And then I locked myself out of the account. So to be completely honest, there is, in my humble opinion, there's one other guy that's having an issue. There was an issue with QuantGuard sometime today, and that might be another reason that it didn't show my right trading the other day with QuantGuard. So Miles is looking into it. I love the product. I just wish it would work. It worked good on Wednesday and Thursday. Tuesday, I'm not sure. It might have been locked me out of that one too. It wasn't that was a crazy day. I entered the trade, and all I heard was stop hit, stop hit, stop hit. It never showed the entry point at any time. And it similarly did that today to me. I entered the trade, and then I closed it out on my own. But one of the trades, it said stop hit or something. So I think that was the trade, the Lucid account. It just didn't show up. And there's obviously something going on. I might not be able to log in. Anyway, so I'm waiting to hear back from Miles to see what the hell's going on. So troubleshooting that situation. So even with all that issue, you can see this is the low of October 10th. So even with that issue, you have to actually go back 30 days to see everything right now. So even with that issue, I still was able to pull out a winning trade, and it was probably because QuantGuard was not active when I was trading EA205 today. So there was some issues. There's obviously something going on in between Rhythmic and TradeCrazeY, I think. So I might not, I don't know, it might not enable all the accounts. Well, anyway, EA205 will turn into a PA. I just don't know. I think the issue is with QuantGuard, to be honest. I think that it's doing something crazy because in the Discord today when I was let me bring over the Discord. This is what he said that my Lucid account did. It said it violated my $550 loss, my daily loss limit, and it got nowhere near that at any given time. But for some reason, it was showing like a position loss of 374 exceeds 275. it did something absolutely crazy today. And then it locked me out of the account. Although I only have like a little over $100 loss, it wasn't showing me that. So the software and the feed and my account, so the data feed, I would assume, was not in step with my entry points with Lucid. And then I noticed that I had issues with my Apex account that was hooked up as well. So I believe the issue happened here on them. And it was not the same kind of issue that I had on Tuesday when we were running the gap on this day. I think it was November 4th, I believe we were running the gap on Tuesday. Yeah, it was this day. We were running the gap on Tuesday, and it wasn't showing my trades correctly. It just took me out at negative 500. It was just not filling me correctly. It was at one of my entry points, it was like having delayed data feed. It was down like 31 points from my entry point. It was nowhere near my entry point when I actually my opening trade on that day on the 4th should have been a winning trade. I caught the down move and it didn't record my trade. So that was very frustrating on that day. And I talked with Apex off and on during the day, and they said there was no rhythmic issues. So I'm looking back at this, that could have been a quant guard issue, maybe, I don't know. But I think rhythmic was having issues that day, and Apex couldn't find it, and there must not have been enough complaints. But I know that during that day there were other traders that were issuing that were having issues on fills not being where they put in their trades. I talked about over several different other traders. So all these orange red lines are points in time that I've looked and said this is where prior resistance and support have held, like going all the way back down here. This is the low from October 10th. And up here, this is the high, it looks like, from October 30th. There were no employment numbers today. So if you go to Forex Factory, bring that over. There it is, Forex. Today would have been the employment numbers, but notice that they're not in here because of the government shutdown. So you notice that the University of Michigan consumer sentiment came in, but there were no, and of course consumer credits coming out at 3, but employment numbers, all the red reports were on there to start with. So if you would go to the calendar, this Friday was showing the employment numbers, the unemployment report, excuse me, and they took it off either yesterday or the day before yesterday. They took it off of here. So that's, I would assume, because of the government shutdown that's going on right now. I have been trading off the 3-minute chart. I find it to have less hiccups on it. If my first trade on 205, I should have stayed with it, and it would have been such an easier. I had 3 or 4 different trade setups to get above the 53,000 mark. But if I would have just took this short right here at the 936 level, it was 933 is when I entered a trade to start with, and took this one on the way down, I wouldn't have had any hiccups. It would have just, I have to be better at placing stops is what it's all about. And other days, I make it work for me. because the market likes to reverse on a dime sometimes. And so it basically took me, it's my valuation account, 205. It basically, whoops. Let's see if I can keep that up. So 26 trading days is what it took to pass this EA 205. So you're looking back at, I don't know what date that was. It doesn't show, does it? So EA 205, this is just showing your wins and losses at the zero line, right? So this chart is just showing that. So that's how long, and this looks like my biggest loss. Yeah, there's my loss that I had on, so this was my biggest loss on the account prior, and then I had this loss, I had this loss, and I had this loss. So if you look at the losses on the account that passed, I had a $100 loss, $260 loss, $80 loss, $270 loss, and a $530 loss. So I did have losses on the account on EA 205, but I did pass it. So you can see some of my bigger wins. I had this win here, $971 winner, and I had this one here, $712 winner. And then I had $200 something winner. You can see most of my wins coming right here: 221, 176, 186, 216, 128, 232. Start off with $318 winner. So it was just a grinded out type of EA. And it's kind of how I've settled in with my trading right now. I don't know if this is helpful for you, but maybe that'll help you understand the journey that I've been on right now. So I will pay for a PA, and obviously the goal is to get to a payout and not blow the PA. So it's going to be PA. It's going to be somewhere in the 20s, I still believe. I think I'm in around PA 25, 26. I forget where I was, but it's been a while since I've had a PA. This is my first PA, or will be my first PA that I'll have paid for since I came back to trading this year in August. So it's taken some time to get to this point, but I've settled in on a trading strategy that I like, that keeps me honest and keeps me moving forward. Taking small losses, taking small wins, trying to keep the max trailing loss at a distance and not allow it to get close. The conservative trading strategy and template that I have with Quant Guards helped when it works. I guess in a nutshell, that's where I am. Let's see where I am on time. It says I'm at 18 minutes. Just one day at a time, right? I'm one day, one trade at a time, just a slow grind. I'd like to get a payout before the year end, obviously. That's kind of the overall goal, taking this PA, EA 205, making it the PA, pay for it, whatever that level is, and take it on. I will say that I like the lucid trading rules, and I did win a TradeCrazeY account in Nutty Bar's room today on the duck race. So I will be learning more about TradeCrazeY next week sometime. Once I'm done here and on this video, I shut all my trading stuff down, my computer down. I'm done. It's been a long week, and I'm looking forward to some R&R over the weekend. Really, that's about all I have to say about it today. I'm just happy to move on to the PA. We talked about the 3-minute chart. This is some beautiful setups right here, obviously off the open. A setup right in here, a setup right in here. Let's see what I took. Well, Lucid is going to show where I tried to enter. See where I tried to enter here. And I tried to enter here and it screwed up and wouldn't allow me. Lucid would have been a winning day today if it would have allowed my entry points the way I put them in. So I was like, all right, screw this. I went to 208 and look where I was trying to take 208 right in here, right? The 208 would have been a much bigger winner, but it was closing me right out of the account. So something was going on at QuantGuard. So I just closed myself out of the trading right here is where I closed out my trading around the 10:30 mark. I said, things aren't working. I'm done. And I explained exactly what happened. So that's it. This is Dave Knight at Dave Knight Trading. TradeCrazeY, TradeCrazeY, David Knight 33, YouTube. TradeCrazeY, you can find me on YouTube. Actually, I guess if you're watching this, you already found me. So that's my journey right now. It's a slow journey, 1 to 2, 2 to, just taking my time, allowing, and I like where I am right now. I like when I just wish QuantGuard would work. It was working, and then it failed me today. So if something happened and it failed me today, but I'm proud that I just closed everything out. I allowed the loss in Lucid. I closed out. I locked myself out of 2-8 because it wasn't working correctly, and just said, you know what, something's wrong. That just not sweat the small stuff, and see if everything will work good come Monday. So I hope you have a great weekend. My youngest son is playing for Cal. They have a game at Gannon this weekend, then Shippensburg, and they should make the playoffs in D2 this year. My oldest son graduated, so looking forward to just having some time. My youngest son's coming home for the weekend for a little bit after the game, and we'll have some time to just family time. My wife's birthday's next week on the 11th, so I don't know if I'll be trading the 10th or the 11th, but definitely trading the 12th through the 14th of next week. Maybe a little bit on the 10th, maybe a little bit on the 11th. I just don't know. We'll see. It's her time too, so it's her birthday coming up. God bless. Take care. I'll see you in the next video I put together. This is Dave.